The president is forcefully pushing back on this, denying this reporting outright. He obviously wants to sue the Wall Street Journal. What's your take? Do you believe him?
Well, Caroline Leavitt went a step further, and she said that they wouldn't even show the president the image, the writing. So the Wall Street Journal apparently doesn't even have it in its possession. So I think that there are legitimate questions that the White House is raising about whether or not this is a fake document. Now, we don't know. I don't have any inside intel, but I will say this. I support Mike Johnson and what he has said about making these documents public. I think that it's important for the American people to decide and see with their own eyes what the government has in its possession. And I hope at the end of the day, the president realizes that that is what he campaigned on. That is what he will deliver.
Oh, come on. I just want to say, I mean, the idea that this is a fake document coming from the Wall Street Journal and their editor, Emma Tucker, that Rupert Murdoch, whose Fox News is one of the most, the biggest supporters of this presidency, that he would publish something that wasn't rock solid, is absolutely, it belies incredulity. And so I do not believe that this is fake. And I think it's going to cause an enormous problem for this president. Why? Because at every juncture, all fingers have pointed to Donald Trump in the Epstein matter. He had a relationship with Epstein. We know that he had a relationship with Epstein. And now this actually proves perhaps that this relationship went far beyond what the president himself has admitted to. And so it does cause a big problem. This has captured the popular imagination. You know, almost 70% of Americans believe that there has been some kind of cover-up. This is not a red issue. This is not a blue issue. This is an issue about power, the abuse of power, and this man who was at the center of a terrible sex trafficking ring, and the fact that the president of the United States might be implicated in that.
Yeah. Noel, like to Lulu's point, which I think is an important one, this has captured people's attention, imagination, however you want to describe it. It is something a lot of people out there are talking about. What is it about this? It doesn't seem like the president, and I think he's acknowledging this by now, saying release everything you can, but he wanted it to be done. And people just on both sides pushed back, even people in his own circle, Laura Loomer, Charlie Kirk, others who've been critical over this particular case.
I think Americans are primed for a conspiracy theory, right? Part of the reason that President Trump was elected was that many Americans feel like there is a deep state that is working against them, a government that is keeping secrets that they should, that they should be privy to. And President Trump campaigns on the idea that I am not part of that establishment. I'm not part of that corrupt establishment. You can count on me to tell you the truth. And for a long time, that really worked. The problem is he is so deeply enmeshed in this at this point that even if, I don't know whether what the Wall Street Journal has is real or fake, but I trust the Wall Street Journal's reporting. The president does not have an off-ramp at this point. I think he's going to be surrounded by this for another couple weeks at least until more information is released to the public. And even then, you ask yourself, at what point are people going to be satisfied that they've heard the whole truth? That's a pretty tricky thing when you're dealing with a conspiracy, right? These things, it's hard for them to die out.
And the Wall Street Journal reporting indicates this letter was sent in 2003. Donald Trump did this interview with New York Magazine in 2002. There was a profile on Epstein, and this is what he said about him in 2002. Terrific guy. Donald Trump booms from speakerphone. He's a lot of fun to be with. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side, no doubt about it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life. Rob, what does the president do now around all of this? What's his next move?
Well, first of all, I'd like to point out that Bill Clinton and others who had connections to Jeffrey Epstein have all said that they severed ties with him after the allegations came out and he was charged with the crimes. So I do think that it's important for us to acknowledge that it's not just Donald Trump. There are others, high-profile political figures that had a relationship or friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. First point. Now, second point, yes, I agree with all of you that the release of this information and that being being more transparent with the American people is a good thing. After all, this White House has promised to be the most transparent in history. And so putting forward this information, by the way, including this letter, this supposed birthday letter that the Wall Street Journal, again, has not disclosed. No one has seen it. Not even the President of the United States has seen it and was given an opportunity to respond to what the Journal is alleging.